Hi. Okay, so I wanted to come on here and just talk about this weekend a little bit. Talk about some ways that this weekend was different than what it would have been in the past. Talk about some ways that I really saw God's hand working. Talk about some things that I'm thankful for, and just hope that this is an encouragement to you, is the point of doing this tonight. If you haven't watched my stories, if you're not on my Facebook and haven't seen all the updates, we were moving our middle son to a town that's about 6 hours away. If you're not familiar with Nebraska, it was in Chadron, out west. And on the way there, my very reliable vehicle, the newest vehicle we own, so it should be the most reliable, Sequoia started overheating. And through lots of calls to my husband, who was not able to go with us, he had to work this weekend. We were trying to baby it to the nearest town where we knew somebody who had equipment that could maybe help us out. That didn't work out. And we ended up having that friend come with a car trailer and his pickup and haul that Sequoia away. And while we were waiting on him to come, we consolidated. We were in 3 vehicles because if you weren't around, we had a crazy week last week. We had wedding rehearsals and weddings. My son, who was moving, was in one of his good friends' weddings on Friday, so he had to be here for that, had to be here for the rehearsal on Thursday. He was gone most of the day Thursday, gone most of the day Friday. We couldn't really pack his vehicle. We couldn't really pack my vehicle because I went to the wedding Friday night. So when I got home Friday night, my husband was packing my vehicle. It was very scattered, crazy, not how you want to really do a good move. And so we had 3 vehicles, one for the mattress and the couch that my parents that we were picking up, and then 2 of our other vehicles. So while we were waiting for the person to show up, we threw everything into the 2 vehicles that we would be continuing on with. Aaron was sure that we would not be able to fit it all in, and we did. We did a lot of creative stuffing in corners and cavities, and we found a way to get it all in there, which was fabulous. So then we continued on, got to Chadron Saturday night, got him unloaded with the help of our great brother-in-law and sister-in-law that live up there and their 2 sons, and got him moved into his apartment. I was actually planning on staying in a motel that night, just like as a treat for doing, the move and everything. So we left Aaron at his apartment. Benjamin and I went to get a motel room. Every motel in town was full. Now, we could have stayed with my brother and sister-in-law. They offered a bed, everything, but I wasn't sure how things would go. I wanted to be able to help Aaron the next day. They live out of town. It just seemed like it was a better idea to stay in town. And so when all of the motels were full, we just went back to Aaron's, providentially. God provided there too, because we had found these air mattresses on sale, on clearance at Walmart. They had the pumps included, like they were self-inflating and deflating, and they were queen size. And so we got one of those out. I slept in Aaron's bed. Aaron slept on one of the air mattresses, and then Benjamin slept on the couch. So again, that was a crazy thing too. And then, long story short, we get up Saturday morning. I started working on things while the other 2 were still sleeping because I just wanted to get going on things and get stuff done. So, if I'd stayed with my brother and sister-in-law, we wouldn't have been able to do that. And so we left town later than we wanted to, which was fine. Benjamin did not want to drive through ranch country anymore. Driving through ranch country on Saturday, he was like, we didn't see anyone else for like 2 hours. Maybe not true, but probably pretty close, and he's not used to that. He's more of a city kid. So we went straight south from Chadron, did 385 all the way down, hit the interstate at Sydney, and we're coming across on the interstate. So along that journey, we did start to feel a weird vibration. Thought it was the changing of the asphalt, on the interstate. It was kind of bothering me. I thought, I don't know about this, but we were 7 miles away from the next exit. We knew we were stopping for fuel at the next exit. So, I felt okay. I mean, there were times when I was kind of like, hope we make the next exit. So we got to there, we're fueling up. I went in to use the restroom. Benjamin, another guy pulled up behind him and said, "Hey, do you know you're leaking oil really bad?" I came out of the bathroom to Benjamin having the hood up and under the pickup looking. Long story short, Philip came to pick us up. So we were 2 hours from home at that point. We were within 2 hours. So we had to wait at the truck stop for Philip to come pick us up. He had to drive 2 hours to come get us, and then we still had 2 hours more to go home. So 2 hours turned into 4 hours. So that was our weekend. We killed 2 vehicles, and Philip spent the day making arrangements to get those vehicles to places where they could be looked at, taken care of. It was discovered that our Sequoia, something was clogging the radiator. I mean, they're putting in a new radiator, they're putting in a new thermostat in my Sequoia. Like the coolant wasn't flowing through that. That was causing the issues and things like that. Philip actually asked for the radiator when they're done, when they take it out, because he wants to open it up and see what the issue was. And his pickup, we decided, is probably a lost cause. We have been looking for a new pickup to replace that one, knowing it wasn't reliable, knowing it had issues, lots of miles old, etc. But with shortages, even used prices on vehicles are crazy expensive. So we had decided to wait on that. Well, now we're going to do it. So Philip, like I said, made arrangements for both vehicles and then spent the rest of the day looking at pickups and trying to find something that was semi-affordable for us and working on that. Okay, so that catches you up with how the whole weekend went. What was happening? On Saturday night, it was yesterday morning, I wrote a post on Facebook about our day on Saturday and how it had went, and I listed off everything I was grateful for. And there were so many things, having somebody close that could come with a pickup and trailer, because we don't know a lot of people with pickup and trailers in that area anymore. The fact that he wasn't at the lake, he typically goes to the lake on the weekends. Philip had told us to try to find a car wash and put the water over the radiator and see if we could cool it down, and that would help us know more about what was happening. I pulled up to the pump and pantry in North Loop, and there was a hose laying right there that was hooked up to a spigot. Asked if I could use it. They said yes. We were able to pull the vehicle over into the alley beside the pump and pantry. It was under a shade tree. Just so many things like that worked out. And the fact that we could get everything into 2 vehicles. And I was just so grateful for that. Even looking at yesterday, I mean, if we hadn't went down to the interstate, we would have been in the middle of ranch country, in the middle of nowhere, between towns. Maybe we could have spent those 2 hours sitting on the side of the road in the heat, which not bad, but just not great. Sitting in a truck stop with a TV and Wi-Fi access and all that just made the wait a lot better. The fact that we didn't break down on the interstate, the fact that we were able to get to the truck stop before we realized what was going on is a huge miracle. Just things like that over and over and over again. And the other part of this is that I never got upset. I had complete peace during this whole crazy time. I never freaked out. I never got really nervous. I mean, my stomach got a little upset because it was very stressful to drive 25 and have people keep backing up behind you and you have to pull over and all of this. But it just didn't freak me out. And in the past, this would have freaked me out. I would have been freaking out. I would have been grouchy. I would have been snappish. I would not have been generous to people. I would not have been kind to those around me. It just would have been ugly and nasty and not great. And the reason that I feel like this is the difference this time is for about a week, a little over a week, I have really been feeling this pull in my heart from God to draw closer to him, to just ask for his presence in my life, to seek him out, to curl up in the arms of the loving Father and just find rest there and know that he loved me, that he cares for me, that he goes out before me. I just felt like this whole pull that this is what I should be doing. And I've went through enough stuff in my life to know that if I'm feeling that something's coming, that I need to be firmly grounded in the truth of God's word. I need to have a good handle on my relationship with God, and I need to be prepared for what's coming, because there's a story in the Bible and there's a children's song that I learned in Sunday school as a kid that, the wise man builds his house upon a rock and the foolish man builds his house upon the sand. And when the rains come and the storms hit, that the foolish man's house is washed away because he doesn't have that solid foundation under him. But a wise man has that firm foundation established under him that allows him to ride out the storm, take those buffeting winds, and be able to handle what's coming, knowing just that God's got him. And so that's the truths that I rely on during those times. I have went through enough things in my life that when stressful, horrible times come, I tend to go, okay, God, what do I need to learn through this? Because I don't ever want to go through this experience again. So I want to learn what I'm supposed to through this. And I just wanted to touch on a couple of things, hopefully, like I said, just to encourage you in drawing closer to God for preparation of when hard times come, when horrible weekends happen. This is a journal that I'm using right now. I don't know if you can see it. That's not the front. This is the front. Be still and know that I am God. Kind of appropriate also. But it's got this great concept. It's got this little journal entry. It's got prayer people. It's got a grateful section that you can fill out. And then study notes on what you're reading in the Bible. This was from my Bible study I did this year with a bunch of women. We decided instead of doing a Bible study book, we were going to do something like this where we each would go through the Word each day and then share what we're learning, share what God has put on our hearts and things. And we really liked it. It was great structure. So I went and looked back because I knew that this was something. So I looked back, and on May 25th, I had wrote down, I was in Psalm 119. I've been doing the 1 year Bible. If you follow, you know that. I've been doing the 1 year Bible plan. And so in Psalms 119, verse 17 and 18, 17 through 19, just, open my eyes that I may see the wondrous things from your law. I am stronger in the earth. Do not hide your commandments from me. And I just wrote the comment that I feel the Lord telling me to draw closer to him, hide myself in him, strengthen myself in him. And I even put preparation of something to come. Highly possible. So I am going to listen, shut out the noise, and focus on him as much as I can. So from May 25th till now, I've been focused on drawing near to God. And, things like Proverbs 15:33, the fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Psalm 119:37 and 38, turn away my eyes from looking at worthless things and receive me in your way. Establish your word to your servant who is devoted to fearing you. Just trying to focus my heart and mind on God. And like I said, shut out the world. David in 2 Samuel 2:22, and he said, while the child was alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, who can tell whether the Lord will be gracious to me that the child may live? And I put under that, always pray. Even if it seems hopeless, pray. So, these are the things that I was just focusing on leading into this week. And that's why I believe that I had peace. I absolutely know we're going to have to tap into our emergency fund to take care of the repairs, to work on buying this new vehicle, even though we've been saving for one. We don't have as much saved as it's going to take. And normally those things would send me just off the charts, freaking out. Where's the money going to come from? How is this going to happen? Where's the, I don't know. I just don't have that. I have absolute peace that it'll work out. And if we have to, we hate debt. We try very much to be debt free. We try to do everything, on a cash type basis. But if a debt is what we have to do, then we trust God to help us pay off that loan that we would have to do to buy a pickup. So just this deep peace that comes. And I put in the title of this, Great is His Faithfulness. It's an old hymn that I grew up singing in the church that I went to. Great is his faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness, morning by morning, new mercies I see. If you're looking for all the ways that God is providing, when you're 47 years old and you have much experience of God stepping in and providing in miraculous ways for medical bills, for situations in your life, when you have seen God provide over and over again, you get to that point of, his mercies are new every morning. We can't out ask God's provision. God has unlimited provisions, and he is always willing to help his children. And he does things according to his will, which is hard to understand, but I just, like I said, if I have to do alone, great. Maybe God will do something miraculous and he'll provide the total sum that we need for our pickup. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that I'm not alone, and I know that God is here, and I know that God is working, that he was working in my heart ahead of time and preparing me for what was to come so that I can go through this in peace. And I can go through holding his hand, knowing that he is with me. And I just want to encourage you that if that's not the relationship you have with God, number one, talk to me. I can give you some pointers on how to have that relationship with God. Number two, to have a relationship with God, you need to be in his word. Read the Bible every day. I cannot say enough good things about the 1 Year Bible. It literally will say on the front, if you go to a bookstore or you go on Amazon, it'll say the 1 Year Bible. Mine that I'm reading right now is the New King James Version. Maybe not my favorite version. I feel like it's a little complicated. I would look for like the NIV version or amplified version, something like that that's a little easier to read is probably what I would look for. But start reading your Bible. Start giving your worries and cares to God through prayer. Just saying, this is what I'm worried about today. In this journal, it says, this is what is on my heart today. Come to God with those things that are burdening you, those things that are weighing you down, those things that are causing you stress and worry, and just say, God, I need you to take care of this because I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't know what's going to happen. And you'll begin to develop a relationship with God, just like you would do a friendship with another person. It's a give and take, and he will work in you, and he will give you peace when the hard times come. And so that's just, I can feel a sneeze coming on. I'm so sorry. That's just the encouragement that I want to give tonight, that this is not the normal reaction for me. You can ask anybody in my circle. You can ask any of my family. This is not a good normal reaction for me. I did fall apart. I'm not saying I did not fall apart. Last night I was completely exhausted, worn out, stressed out. I had had a migraine since Friday night. So last night my sister called me when we're waiting in the truck stop, and she was just, she's my sister, and she was way too nice to me. And I just started bawling in this truck stop, sitting in the rest area, and I couldn't talk. So all she's getting is silence on my end. And I finally just kind of, very weepily, that whole thing. I'm like, I can't talk. I'm just going to cry. So she let me go. And I went in the bathroom and kind of calmed down. But then later, a lovely person from our church sent me a message too that was very kind and very loving and encouraging. And I completely lost it again. And that time it was like, I just need to go cry. I need to have a good cry. You know that feeling when you are done and you just need a good cry? That was me. So luckily the music was really loud in the truck stop, and I went in the bathroom and I just had a good cry. I'm really good at crying quietly if I need to. Long story in history there, but really good at that and hiding that. And so I went in the bathroom and had a good cleansing cry and felt better. Of course, then when my husband showed up, I wanted to cry all over again because, here was the rescuer to rescue us, and I was just so grateful. And he said something, and I was like, just don't even be nice to me right now or I'm going to cry. So I've definitely had my moments of tears. Your body, your mind, your emotions can only take so much. We aren't made to be invincible, and we have to break down and have those moments. So I'm not saying I haven't had my moments, But I'm saying through it all, there's a peace and there's not a freak out, and it's all working out for good, and that's what it'll be. So, okay, I probably jabbered way too long, longer than I meant to, but I just, if anybody watches this and finds encouragement from it, then the point of this has been made. So have a great night. Keep watching my stories for updates on what's happening. Philip came home today with about 5 different pickups for me to look at, and the headache is finally going away tonight. I've struggled with it a lot. I came home and took a 2-hour nap this afternoon while my assistant was at work. I could come home, took a nap, and I'm headed to bed now so that I can just get caught up on rest and sleep. So have a good night.